Mercedes is indisputably the preeminent Formula One team of today, arguably the best of the 21st century, and potentially on a trajectory that will one day take it to the top of the statistical tree if it hasn't already. But where does it stand among the great teams? First, there is the thorny question of exactly what we're talking about. The current Mercedes team, originally Tyrrell, came at the end of 1928, but together it was taken over by Barr, and then it subsequently had stints as Honda and Braun before becoming Mercedes. They were all short-lived, but phenomenally successful Mercedes factory team of 1954 and 55. It's impossible to be consistent when grouping together team identities. For example, if you track breaks Renault's history of the 1980s, the Enstone team, with teams such as Tolman, but when it comes to Mercedes, the best way to consider it is from 2010 onwards, combined with the 1954-55 factory team. This is an intuitive and logical way of doing it. Effectively, if it quacks like a Mercedes, it is a Mercedes. There is an expedition approach because it would be absurd and counterintuitive to consider Mercedes' works team also to be Honda's works team. So while the Barr and Honda era forms part of the current team's history, and the Braun's triumph in 2009 does add a dash of sparkle to its records, we are only considering what was identified as the four works teams with the modern Brackley and Brixworth operations and the mid-50s Stuttgart project. Greatness is a vague word, but broadly speaking, we can divide down into several components. Firstly, achievements, the level of success achieved. Secondly, the longevity of the team. Thirdly, the overall contribution of what might be called the craft of F1, how the team raised the bar in terms of innovation. In the first category, Mercedes have been enormously successful. Taking it into account both drivers and constructors' titles, it's won 15 out of 23, a stunning success rate, even if we were to note that late arrival of teams in 1950 more meant Jan and Manfantino raced 2 more races than rivals. By winning 7 world champions back-to-back between 2014 and 2020, Mercedes have also enjoyed a unique run of success. Its 2019 double eclipsed Ferrari's glory days from 1999 to 2004, which it took its 6 constructors' crowns, but only 5 drivers. If Mercedes can do the double for a 7th consecutive year, when 2020 finally gets underway, which of course they have done, that will emphatically claim the record of Ferrari in the Michael Schumacher era. And the numbers are spectacular, but when it comes to longevity, it's not so emphatic. A full works Mercedes team has only competed in 13 seasons, even if you include 2020 out of potential 71. Well, the fact is, it has achieved much more in a short period of time than pretty much any other team. But what Mercedes has done in that short team is unique, maintaining its supremacy through rule changes for the first time ever. The fact Mercedes have dominated those 2 rule changes just shows what a team they are. Very few teams have managed to maintain a lead in multiple periods. When it comes to driving F1 forward, Mercedes is undervalued. While Mercedes has not operated at a time when big ticket of the breed, as technical director James Allison has pointed out, there are endless, usually hidden innovations under the skin. Visual concepts such as DAS are just the tip of the iceberg, with many of the other brilliant ideas sadly shrouded. That said, the 1950s Mercedes team W196 was a trailblazer, particularly when it comes to engines, with such full injection that was successfully integrated. But the current vision of Mercedes has innovated brilliantly with a 1.6 litre V6 turbo hybrid engines. Mercedes aced the new technology and reaped the rewards by winning 89 of the 121 races. This is a stat from the beginning of this year, a victory rate of 73.5 races. During that period, Mercedes also broke 50% thermal energy barrier, a phenomenal achievement. What's disappointing is that the power units are derided rather than being recognised as the masterpieces they are. It's also important to note that while the Mercedes operation is enormous and well funded, this requires equally enormous organisation and management to make it work. The team culture is laudable, avoiding a blame culture, but making it possible for those mistakes to hold their hand up or weaknesses to be highlighted without counterproductive reasons. No team embodies win as a team, lose as a team better than Mercedes, and that is a significant part of their success. For such a massive organisation, it feels like a close-knit and honest team. Crucially, as Ferrari have become stronger before this year, Mercedes have not shown any cracks, whereas Ferrari has. When it comes to weighing up the three factors, we assess the criteria of the greatest athlete team. It's clear in terms of longevity. Ferrari is probably the best. Lengthy success and contributions of Lotus and McLaren allow them to hang on to, but it's almost too close to call now when you compare the likes of Williams and Mercedes. Williams perhaps just shades it for fourth, but with Mercedes constantly breaking records and going for an eighth next year, then they could even start to move ahead of the likes of Lotus and McLaren. There is another dimension that must be considered, however, when it comes to Mercedes, one that stretches mere team achievement. Mercedes is now, after Ferrari, Formula One's most enduring manufacturer when it comes to continuous commitment, stretching back to 1994 with the Sauber team. It is now fourth ranked in terms of most World Championship races contested, a total of 480. Manufacturer commitment in Grand Prix racing is famously fickle. To add to that, it's the heritage of the team stretching back to 1950 before it quit due to a Le Mans tragedy. Just as it's impossible to conceive of an F1 landscape without Ferrari, it's almost impossible to do so in these days without Mercedes, and that's just testament to what a great job they have done. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.